there was an incredible story in the New York Times this Sunday that nobody does anymore. It was they gave it almost 4 pages, and it was about a guy who nobody had ever heard of, who died alone in his apartment in New York, and what happens when you die alone in an apartment. And it was such a human story, and you realize how many people in this world will be touched by something like that. And this guy detailed it from every step of the way, and all the city agencies that come into play and all these things, and he created this guy's life. And by the end of it, I felt so sad for this guy, but I was also just amazed at what happens when that happens. And
yeah, something you hadn't given much thought to, and everything.
And that doesn't get communicated in the.
It's funny we should say this. A friend of yours, just before I walked up here to do this show, called me, Sue Carlton.
Great gal.
And she does a tremendous column, I think.
She's a great gal.
And she's been around long enough to understand the past. She called me to let me know that a gentleman that cut my hair for many years passed away. And now you wouldn't think. And I said, well, how did you know that? He said, well, I heard that he cut your hair, and 2 or 3 other people in town that you. And I realized I knew his last name, but I never used it. His name was Bernard. He became a friend. He was close to City Hall, and I was able to run across the street whenever I needed it for years and years and years. And it made me think of when I was a kid that the same person cut my hair from the day I was born till he died over in Ybor City. And I drove home from the University of Florida because that's the only person that ever cut my hair. And she writes things like that, and it makes you think, just like that story you just talked about.
That's what I say. I think
I wish there was more of that.
We go back and talk about issues that you faced when you were mayor, or things that I covered that seemed so incredibly important in the day, and you look back and they just happened. They're over with. People have forgotten about it. But the human, how we live as humans and how we interact and care about each other, those are the real stories that are passed.
Well, actually, what you're doing now, talking about that, most everybody in your business or in show business or something like that, it's about people. And you go to a group, like yesterday you had a group together that I happened to visit, and everybody's happy. Everybody's that type of person. There's a personality. They're not on their cell phone every 10 seconds looking up something.
It's a group of talented creative people.
It makes a difference in kids and adults both, doesn't it? Show business, any of the type of arts, really.
We've got this. I love the rule now where they say the first one who picks up their cell phone at the dinner table has to buy dinner, because I see couples out on dates and they're not even looking at each other anymore.
Yeah. No, it makes a difference.
I would have liked to have asked girls out with text, though, because I was so shy. It would have been great.
It would have been very simple, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then they would have broken up with me by text, too, I guess. But, it would have saved me a lot. I would ask a lot more girls out had they had text.